and Zungeru hydroelectric power projects during his time in office under former President Muhammadu Buhari. He was also found guilty of making a cash payment of about 200 million naira for a property in Abuja without passing through a financial institution in violation of financial regulations. Justice Omotosho noted that evidence showed large sums were routed through bill exchange operators, converted into foreign currency, and diverted to the former minister. The court described the prosecution's evidence as overwhelming, while criticizing the foreign minister for failing to improve Nigeria's power sector during his tenure. Norman was absent in court during the judgment delivery, and sentencing has been adjourned to Tuesday, 13th May 2026, with a warrant of arrest also issued against him. Chukwudinma Enyi, Real Power News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Bianca Odumegu Ojukwu, says the federal government will not remain silent over alleged harassment, humiliation, and extrajudicial killings of Nigerians in South Africa amid renewed xenophobic tensions. In a post on social media, she disclosed that she held a telephone conversation with South Africa's Foreign Affairs Minister, Ronald Lamola, following recent anti-migrant protests and rising anti-foreign sentiments in parts of the country, including a recent demonstration in Durban. Ojukwu said Nigeria's immediate priority is the evacuation of citizens willing to return home, especially those affected by fear triggered by the protests. She also said Nigeria has demanded accountability over reported attacks on its citizens and urged South African authorities to address any cases of extrajudicial killings. The Senate has reversed parts of its amendments to the Senate Standing Orders 2026, rescinding changes relating to oath-taking and participation in proceedings by senators-elect in electing presiding officers. The reversal, however, does not affect the newly amended Order 5A, which restricts eligibility for the offices of Senate President and other principal officers to senators re-elected from the 10th Assembly into the 11th Assembly. Barely 2 days after amending its rules, the Senate revisited the provisions of Order 2 subsection 2 and Order 3 subsection 1 following concerns over possible constitutional inconsistencies. Under the now rescinded Order 3 subsection 1, senators-elect were barred from participating in any proceedings of the Senate, including voting for the election of the Senate President and Deputy Senate President, until they had taken the oath prescribed in the Constitution.
Distinguished colleagues, the election of presiding officers will have to take place, as it had always been, before distinguished senators and other members of House of Representatives will take their oath. And it is against this background, Mr. Speaker and Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, that I move that the Senate recalls that the Senate standing orders were considered and amended on Tuesday, 5th day of May 2026. Senate observes that upon further legislative and constitutional review, certain provisions introduced under Order 2, Subsection 2, and Order 3, Subsection 1 may give rise to constitutional inconsistencies.
Suspected gunmen have abducted 6 students of Nasarawa State University, Kefi, following an attack on a students' lodge in Gudi, Akwanga local government area of Nasarawa State. The students, all from the Faculty of Engineering, Gudi campus, were reportedly kidnapped last night after armed hoodlums stormed their off-campus residence at Angwan Nizo on the outskirts of Gudi. One additional victim, believed to be a visitor at the lodge, was also reportedly abducted during the attack. The Nasarawa State Police Command, which confirmed the incident in a statement today, said the attack occurred at about 9 p.m. yesterday. Nasarawa State Commissioner of Police CP Shetima Mohammed visited the scene for an on-the-spot assessment and reassured students, residents, and the university community that efforts were ongoing to secure the safe rescue of the victims. Nigeria's House of Representatives again today witnessed more defections as Bello El-Rufai, son of former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, defected from the ruling All Progressives Congress to the African Democratic Congress alongside other members. House Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, who made this known at the resumption of plenary, also announced the defection of two members of the People's Democratic Party from Kaduna State, Umar Ajilo and Suleiman Rishifa, to the African Democratic Congress. A member representing Amak Buari Federal Constituency of the Federal Capital Territory, who earlier moved from the Labour Party to the All Progressives Congress, dumped the ruling party for the Nigeria Democratic Congress, while a Kano State lawmaker, Kamilu Ado, also moved from the African Democratic Congress to the Nigeria Democratic Congress after earlier dumping the new Nigeria People's Party for the African Democratic Congress. The defecting lawmakers cited internal crisis and uncertainty within their former parties as reasons for their defection. You're listening to Metro News on Ray Power 100.5 FM. We'll bring you more stories after the break. Please stay with us.
As the news drops, it breaks with us. Join us for news on the hour every hour. News desk at 12 noon, Metro News at 4 p.m. Enjoy infotainment, breaking and sports news at their best 24/7.
This is Ray Power FM News.
Thanks for staying with us. And now to the African scene. Angola and Gabon have reinforced bilateral cooperation with the signing of 3 new agreements aimed at deepening collaboration in key economic sectors as the two oil-producing nations seek to diversify their economies and strengthen regional partnerships. The agreements were announced during a high-level meeting between Angolan President João Lourenço and Gabonese President Brice Nguema, who underscored the importance of expanding cooperation beyond the energy sector. Speaking after the talks, President Nguema said Gabon was looking to benefit from Angola's experience in tourism, agriculture, and other industries as Libreville pushes to reduce its dependence on oil revenues. And still on the foreign scene, 2 former Chinese defense ministers have been handed suspended death sentences on corruption charges. A military court today sentenced Wei Fengyi and Li Shangfu to death with a 2-year reprieve. This means their death sentences will be commuted to life imprisonment after 2 years without the possibility of sentence reduction or parole. Both men were found guilty of bribery and all of their personal assets were confiscated. The announcement follows the recent ousting of several top military figures in the country amid a sweeping anti-corruption crackdown.
And now, a business update from Ray Power 100 FM.
First quarter of 2026, despite increased volumes made available by producers under the domestic company has opened up about years of professional setbacks. Describes as an unofficial backlisting from the film industry. The actor alleged that an unnamed individual once instructed producers not to him, a move he says led to him being removed from projects and film shoots being abruptly halted. He also spoke about the loss of his children to complications from sickle cell disorder, describing it as one of the most difficult periods of his life, and that it
Ray Power Sport.
Bayern Munich CEO Jan-Christian Driessen has launched a scathing attack on UEFA's officiating appointments following the club's painful Champions League semi-final exit at the hands of Paris Saint-Germain. The Bavarian Giants were left incensed by the several high-profile decisions at the Allianz Arena that ultimately cost them a place in the final. The club CEO questioned why João Finero, a referee with limited experience at the highest level of European knockout football, was appointed for such a high-stakes fixture. And still in sports, Nigeria's Falconets have arrived in Lilongwe ahead of Saturday's second leg clash against Malawi in the 2026 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifiers. The Falconets carry a 2-0 advantage from the first leg and will face the Young Scorchers at the Bingu National Stadium.
Ray Power weather.
Cloudy conditions are expected across most parts of Nigeria this evening, with thunderstorms likely over parts of the north. The north-central areas such as Abuja, Lokoja, and Jos may experience scattered evening showers. And in the south, cities like Port Harcourt and Calabar are expected to record light to moderate rainfall with humid conditions. Temperatures this evening will range between 24 and 28 degrees Celsius nationwide. To end the Metro News, here is our last line. A popular quote says, "If your habits don't align with your dream, then you need to either change your habits or change your dream." And that's it for the Metro News. I am Idimachi Ikechukwu. You can watch us online and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Ray Power Abuja 100.5 FM. Do join us at 6 p.m. for our next Bulletin Nigeria Today for news across the nation. Good evening.
Providing 300